Hi, I'm Blair Underwood, and I have the privilege and honor to spend time with you today and share something very personal to me and to my family. I often do interviews. I'm an actor in the entertainment business, and often I do interviews by myself, but I'm glad to be able to share the stage and camera with my brother Frank Underwood Jr. and my sister Marlo Underwood Collins there in Petersburg, Virginia. I live in Los Angeles, California, and today we're going to be talking to you about what it's like to take care of and give love to our parents, who would be Colonel Frank Underwood Sr., who is now 88 years old, and our mother, Marilyn Underwood, who is now 84 years old.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Again, my name is Frank Underwood Jr., and we've been taking care of our parents for a few years. And it's a beautiful thing. I got to tell you, most of my formative years and my young adult years, I had no idea that I would be in this position, not even expecting it. But as the folks got older, a little weaker, you just step in and you help out. I think this is like one of the greatest loves you can have, to take care of your parents, the ones that took care of you when you couldn't take care of yourself.
And Marlo, we should talk about that because, the fact that a lot of people may want to even take care of their parents, but maybe don't have the resources and don't know how to go about finding help and aid and to find those resources.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Marlo, and yes, I was thinking about what Frank was saying, and unfortunately, it seems like a lot of people don't plan for this moment. Well, mom and dad had a will, but it hadn't been revised in years, and they hadn't really thought about it. So I was able, summer before last, just take them. Fortunately, again, with my dad's military background, we were able to go to the JAG office on the base here and get the complete will done. And they were able to express their wishes at the end of life, and all of that's in place. We know where it is, and it's done, and so we don't have to worry at the end that their wishes aren't being met because it wasn't done. So thankful for that. I really didn't know in the beginning that mom and dad wanted to be at home, when they get older and can't do for themselves anymore. That's something that they really wanted to do. And so it's been my mission to make that happen, or have it happen in a way that's comfortable for them. Then I have my family with me. I have three boys, and my whole family is with us as well. So I'm in that sandwich generation with my children, and watching my parents get older and having them watch as well. It's just been, I know that I can look back on this time at some point and say, wow, we got to have that time, which is going to be so impactful for all of us.
Well, on that point, it's like a learning curve, the same learning curve you have when you have a child. I have several children, Marlo does too. But there's no manual for a baby, juxtaposed to the fact that there's no manual for your parents getting older as well.
We should say our mother has multiple sclerosis and has had multiple sclerosis for diagnosed maybe 25 years ago. Yeah, so for me, because as I mentioned earlier, I live in California, my family lives in Virginia. I'm 3,000 miles away. And, at this stage of life, I'm 56 years old, and truly most of my contemporaries have either lost both of their parents or one. So I'm so incredibly grateful, literally every day, to still have my parents on this planet. So I try to stay in touch as often as possible. I usually call Frank and mess up his flow, and then he'll pick up the phone. He'll take me to my mother or my father so I can talk to them both. But that's the way I connect with them. It's been more challenging now, of course, during COVID. So I'm grateful to have, my brother and sister there. I think it's important to know your strengths and know your weaknesses. I know one of my strengths is I like to think big. My weakness is I'm terrible at management and details. And I know that's one of Marlo's strengths. And that's been incredible for our family and for our parents, because you've really just kind of fine-tuned all the nuance of the things that needed to be looked into and researched, and kind of brought us further down the path on this learning curve.
And I would not say that's one of my strengths, details, but I try. I try. No, but when I did come in and take on the role and just trying to be better caretakers for my parents, I realized that there were some gaps. I mean, I get overwhelmed, and so I have been able to plug in a lot of it, but I know now that we have a lot more resources than we originally thought. Getting a car, a vehicle for my mom, an adapted vehicle, possibly doing renovations to the home to make it handicap accessible. So there's a lot of things that I've been learning how to tap into that.
And back to the learning curve, the learning curve statement. It's I was away when Mom first started getting sick with MS back in the 80s. No, I'm sorry, the 90s. I wasn't home almost for like 20 years besides Christmas. And I was really just not understanding a lot of what she was going through. Jump forward a few years later and I'm back here. And Blair's in LA, but I'm here. And sometimes, like a brother does, like in our relationship does, he'll say, well, why is that? And I said, man, you don't understand. You're 3,000 miles away. Well, tell me what's going on. So I tell him what's going on. But it's like that same curve that I didn't have back in the 90s. I didn't understand what Mom was going through. Then Marla would explain it to me because she was on deck at that time. But when you see it firsthand, your parents, Dad and Mom were always super mom, super dad to me. Still are. But it's a different type of super mom and super dad now.
I think the one word that comes to mind, and I'm sure this is throughout your curriculum with Endwell, is dignity. It's preserving dignity for every human being. And every human being is different. My mother, and I mentioned MS, I keep come back to my mother. She's been in a wheelchair for 25 years, and most of the time she's in bed. And, Frank and Marlo take her out of the bed, and the nurses take her out of the bed and get her in the chair. And I'm constantly saying, and they know, please, and to my mother, please just get outside, get some sunshine, get some vitamin D, because it's just important just to change your physical environment. But, we learn and we grow.
And that's one of those things, those day-to-day things. It's like, it's easy to say when you're away, did you get her outside today? And not having to see everything that goes into that day. Like right now, she's kind of fighting just to turn over in bed. She doesn't want to get up. And it's painful for her right now, actually, because she's lost so much weight in her backside. She doesn't want to sit in a chair. And so it's just easier for her to stay in the bed. And if we do get her out, she'll stay in the chair for like 15 minutes at the most and want to lay back down. So getting her outside is sometimes monumental just task, just to get her outside for a few minutes.
So what we're talking about here now, looking out for our parents, they were there for us in many ways. They deposited those seeds of the importance and the value and the gravity of family and how necessary it is. So we've kind of blossomed with our own families, and hopefully our kids see the same things that they'll replicate in their lifetime.
Agreed.
What I'd like to say to my mother and to my father is thank you. I think every day we have, we're living on borrowed time. Every day is special. Every day is a miracle. And I know we are just incredibly grateful to God for allowing us this time, and to both of them for taking care of themselves and fighting. My mother is a warrior. That's what I would say to them. That's what I have said to them. That's what I would say to them publicly.
It was good, brother.
Oh, well, thank you.
I would like to say that I thank God that you're still with us, and that I pray you'll be with us for many more years. And I'm glad that I'm here to facilitate your journey into old age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I would say that pretty much the same. Just thank you for giving us the foundation. I think sometimes they both may feel like they didn't do enough, but they did enough.
I just want to say to all of the people out there who are frontline caregivers within your home, even our frontline caregivers within our hospitals and medical facilities, but specifically the ones inside the home for your parents or loved ones, please know that there are resources out there. Please know you have support, literal support and theoretical, metaphysical support, giving you love, sending you love right now, because we know that it's not easy, but it's worth it. And just stay strong.